What we got is a new round that I'm aware of. Um, I want to call it the 10 millimeter Super. So basically, it's taking the idea from um, the 45 Super, which is 45 ACP, but it uses brass that can support extreme powderings. So um, I can do that because the 10 millimeter Magnum, which is a kind of a rare auto case that you can get once in a while. Um, I got it from Starline after a couple of years of them being out of stock, but it's used for a couple calibers, not just the 10 millimeter Magnum. You can use it for other things, but yeah, that was the thing I was interested in getting was the 10 millimeter Magnum for my Smith and Wesson 610 that's rechambered for 10 millimeter Magnum. And the idea came from, um, well, I've heard of the 40 Super, which is a neck down version of the 45 ACP. And then you can use the thicker brass for that specific um, chambering. So I'm guessing they're using like 460 Roland cage or something like that. And then they cut it and they neck it down, um, they put a centimeter uh, bullet into that. So it looks sort of like a 357 SIG. So that's kind of the inspiration for this. So again, this is going to be, you get 10 millimeter Magnum brass. This might look like it's the same, but it's not. Quite the difference, actually. I would say there's more difference with, um, it's definitely a Magnum cartridge. It's huge compared to the 10 millimeter. So you take the 10 millimeter Magnum case and you take that and you're going to get you either have a setup to cut it with like a zip cutter, or I actually like this little small pipe cutter. It works so good. Just I can't believe how fast it is. You just put the round in here, um, open up the width so it sits in the little area here, and then give it a little squeeze, and as soon as it stops, that's where as soon as it stops, I just start rotating it, and it creates like nice little incision line, and then after it goes around once or twice, just give it a little 16th of a turn, and keep rotating it, and next thing you know, you cut down your brass to just slightly larger to 10 millimeter auto length. And what you're going to have is this brass is a lot thicker. The walls are very thick compared to the regular brass for 10 millimeter auto. And you'll know that because if you ever try to cut um, or work with or resize the 10 millimeter Magnum, not a lot of people have that opportunity, but I've worked with it a lot, and man, it's definitely a lot thicker. I can't remember what the caliper readings are, but it's a burly case. So it's not just these the body walls that are thick. Also in here, if I was to bisect it, you'd see more of there's more brass throughout the whole head of the case, and that is sort of the rationale behind the 45 Super 2 is because it can support more bang. You're not going to have case head separation with the when you put it in a supported barrel. It's just going to like take those pressures pretty well. So here I have the first that I'm aware of 10 millimeter 10 millimeter Super, and the idea is to bring it up to somewhere between 10 millimeter and 10 millimeter Magnum, which is close to 41 Magnum. Very punchy round. I don't have a way to measure the speeds, but as far as the punch I was getting at the range, it was pretty incredible. Something akin to the 10mm mag. So basically, I'm just um, hot rodding this 10mm more than like a stout 10mm. So if you got like a double tap or an Underwood, it's beyond that for sure. I've shot those. I have those in my armory. I shoot those all the time actually, and this was a lot hotter than that. So I'm gonna this is a pretty good supported barrel. This is it's like a pretty good tolerances. It's like an aftermarket barrel from KKM. So I was gonna go and try the 10mm super out of the Glock because I've only tried it out of the 610 revolver from Smith and Wesson. So that's my next mini goal before I sort of work the powders up and see how far I can go before I see some pressure signs from either the case head or the primer. So far, so good. I don't have any spent brass here, but so far the pressures have been good, and I'm pretty stoked about that. It's not like I've wanted to stray from the 10mm Magnum. In fact, I just purchased a long gun that's gonna do this round, and I'll be showing that soon because it's gonna be a fun little project. But probably by summertime I'll have it. And the reason why I bought this out is this is one of the tools I use for dealing with 10mm Magnum brass in the past. So after this is cut, you do have a rough cut when you use something crude like this, right? So you're gonna sort of get a Sharpie, mark it where just slightly proud of the 10mm auto specs are for the length. And then this is just gonna sort of be the crude cut. And then what you do is you get this Lee cutter ball. I like this for finer work. And you just insert into your 10mm auto case that has been trimmed from the Magnum case, and you get it down to like the specs, like the perfect length. And it's really easy tool to use. You just pop it in, you turn it. This little sharp shoulder on this goes to the adapter until it's time to, or there's no more cutting to do because it sort of forces the case to not go deeper than this, right? So as soon as the cutting is done, you hold this case in here. As soon as the cutting's done, the brass shavings can't get cut anymore, and you have like a perfectly length case. I recommend doing that. I'm gonna start doing that for all my hand loads actually, because I've noticed quite a difference between pieces of brass from Starline. Like you'll have quite the wide variance between one piece and another. So there you have it. So I've had a successful run of 10mm Super, which is a super stout 10mm because of the case is thick. I've run it through the Smith & Wesson 610, which is an end frame, and I'm going to try it with the Glock and work up my powder from like something like 10 grains of powder to about maybe 12 or 13. So we'll see. Yeah, pretty excited. But there you have it.